think there are things to be learned from Jews. Jews were a tiny minority in Europe for over 1,000 years, and they didn't go around saying, we think Christianity is idolatry. Now, pretty much every Jew thought Christianity was idolatry, but they kept that to themselves. And if they were interrogated about the Talmud or other Jewish texts that had negative statements about non-Jews, they would say, oh, that applies to the heathens from 3,000 years ago. That doesn't apply to the Christians today. Now, of course, the text did apply to the Christians today, but why would you say that when you're a tiny, defenseless minority? You don't want to increase your enemy's animus. So you learn to play frame games.
But look, Ford, are you right there making a case for subversion, for not saying what you think? Are you saying that the Jews, that it's fine that they did that and it was out of being kind to the Gentile, but in private, it's okay to talk against the Gentile?
Sure, I have no problem. And the other way around. I think if you harbor animus against Jews, for most people, it would not be wise professionally or personally to say your opinions everywhere you went. But in private, you should absolutely be able to talk about, how much you hate Jews. So I think public and private, those are important distinctions.
Right, but someone has to be out there, and it's not about hate. Just so you understand, this is about this is a misconception. While certainly people probably develop animus once they study the ways of certain peoples, but this is about exerting our own willpower and identity. And if someone is if someone's in our way, that does have to be taught. Some people have to talk about that publicly. And you're absolutely, there's a hell of a lot more people talking about it privately than there are talking about it publicly.
Absolutely. And you have your role. JF has his, Kevin McDonald, Richard Spencer. But that doesn't mean that your average dentist who listens to JF needs to start talking to his patients about the JQ. Doesn't mean that
who's suggesting that, though? Is anyone suggesting that?
A lot of people have gotten into trouble for just not using good judgment. I think we have to be fair that generally speaking, people attracted to marginalized movements, marginalized religions tend to be marginalized people. Generally speaking, people who don't tend to make good decisions. So a lot of people take the red pill and they go too far. They hurt their relationships with their family, friends, employers, and community by just saying too much. You have to be discreet unless you are a warrior, unless you are in a position where you have FU money, and then you can stand up and you can do live streams and say exactly what you think. Most people need to be careful, and also you can get away with a lot if you use irony. I know the irony bros get a lot of disrespect. A lot of people loathe them as nihilists, but you can kind of implant a lot of your ideas into a wider conversation if you just use irony and a little bit of sarcasm, or if you just completely deadpan so people don't know if you're serious or not.
Well, it's always a surprise, but it's the case you've been making a year ago when we were talking. And you keep saying, be careful, don't engage publicly with the alt-right. I mean, it's a message that drives my crowd totally crazy, but I've already expressed my opinion on this. I think we should, ideas that are legitimate should be expressible on the public space. And
but don't you think that don't you feel like you got a dog in this fight though, Luke? I mean, what you're saying, it's like, don't you have a vested interest in people doing that? I mean, how do we know you're being an honest player here?
Well, you don't, but it doesn't really matter if I'm as dishonest as the day is long. What matters is there any wisdom in applicable situations to what I'm saying? We all agree here that JF should keep being JF. We all agree that the Richard Spencers and Mike Enochs of the world are willing to throw down for their beliefs, are willing to put it on the line, who no matter how much pressure, how much aggravation, how much just junk it's just poured on them, how much opposition they attack, they will stand true and firm for their beliefs. Most people do not have your courage. Most people do not have Richard Spencer's courage. Most people do not have JF's courage. So we have to have a realistic sense of our own capabilities. I don't know if I could have stood up to what you went through, Mike, Enoch. I know that there are a lot of areas in life where I'm just an absolute coward. So I think it's important that everybody have an accurate understanding of their own capabilities and how much they can handle.
All right. Luke, one other thing that I retained from 2018 is how people have upgraded their microphones. And I see that you have a good microphone now.
Yeah, well, I basically bought everything that you suggested. So I bought the $400 Shure mic. I bought the $200 amplifier. I bought the latest Logitech webcam. I downloaded Voicemeeter Banana. So, of course, I've got a long way to go. I still haven't learned OBS. But I definitely have taken many of your directions.
Papa JF Unique's contribution to YouTube. I have led to Richard Spencer and Luke Ford to acquire the exact same microphone. Who on the internet could have done that, really?
Well, I will say that the audio quality generally of the internet has gone up. I remember people were doing this. Everybody had their Apple, earbuds in, and they thought this was okay. And everything was very tinny, very, very irritating. So yes, but of course, that mic that you got there, Spence had that mic for years. So yeah.
All right. We also have joining us Big Cat Kayla. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you? How are all of you doing, actually?
We're doing good. I'm doing
Merry
good.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, Luke.
Thank you.
So, Kayla, what's been going on with you, and what do you retain from 2018?
Oh, well, I'm so glad that we're not talking about mic quality anymore. So,
Hey,
no,
I'm very good quality.
Very good quality. Not really.
Well, you have a very good mic. You've always had a good one.
I was making it.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to Kayla.
But 2018, I'd say it, like, overall, not an impressive year. Personally, I've had a great year. It's wrapping up nicely, but I mean, I think that everyone seems to be trying to figure out in what direction we're going to be, like, going in. And, I mean, when I say what direction we're going in, trying to be in lockstep with each other. And I think you guys were just discussing this with how we want to deliver our message. And yeah, I mean, I don't think that dentists, and like Enoch said, nobody said that your dentist should be telling you how Jews do this or Jews do that. Because there's a time and a place for everything, and everyone serves their own purpose. But I think it's just simply finding a way to, this sounds really gay, but finding a way to get along. Finding a way to say that, okay, this is this person's role, they do that, and then this is this person's role, they do that. So hopefully
this
in 2019...
is like really, I mean, I'm sorry, this is like really basic stuff. Like, everyone gets, like, if you're not prepared to get doxxed and fired and harassed, and then, like, keep yourself hidden. If you want to have an edgy Twitter, make sure that you don't link it back to any other accounts, blah, blah, blah. Like, everyone gets this. Yeah. Like, we all, I mean, I don't know. This is just like trivial wisdom. Everyone, yes, be careful. Don't get doxxed. Watch out for yourself. Like, a lot of people.
It's not trivial wisdom, Mike. People who love you are getting fired because they are not discreet in what they're saying.
I repeat your message all the time. I mean, but it hasn't really happened recently. I mean, there's been fallout from Charlottesville, but, like, the idea that this is like some recurring problem that constantly happens is, I think, false. And many people are very careful about their OPSEC, and I encourage people to be careful about their OPSEC. But while you're saying, it's just like, is that like the basis of your online presence, is like warning people about this? I mean, we tell people this all the time. It's just like, what is the real news flash here about?
Well, there's just so much gratuitous hatred in the alt-right. For example, a lot of people in your crowd might give Jared Taylor a hard time for not being sufficiently woke on the JQ. I think Jared Taylor has pretty much the same view on Jews as you do. He just chooses not to fight that particular battle.
And well, I can't control what other people say. That's different than being careful about being doxxed, though.
No, it's.
I mean, I don't give Jared Taylor any problems. I've always given him nothing but respect, and I encourage others to do so.
Right, but since Trump's election, the alt-right has spent more time fighting with itself than fighting with
and you made a whole
enemy.
show out of that. That's like the whole basis of your show.
That is absolutely true, because I am not a member of the alt-right.
All right, so 2019, let's put Luke's show off of YouTube, give him zero content, no more infighting. If any motivation that you want, it's to get Luke off YouTube, give him no content. That's the 2019 New Year's resolution for the alt-right.
Oh my God, I'm really looking for these 60 Jewish viewers. I'd like to add them to my commercial enterprise here. Let's try to put Luke Ford's YouTube show down.
Hey, all we have to do is stop giving him. All we have to do is stop giving him trivial drama to talk about, and his show is done.
I would just.
He went from being a porn gossip to being an alt-right gossip.
Luke,
that's true.
Is that why you're making new alliances with the Irony Bros?
I wasn't aware I made any alliances. I kicked.
I'm just saying, what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, they blocked me.
Can
on
one
Twitter,
of you take me through what is this thing, the Irony Bros? Because I have these secondary effects showing up on my what?
I mean, I don't want to do drama. I didn't come on this stream to do drama.
Okay.
Let's talk about something important.
Okay, because I had these people annoying me on Twitter, and personally, I blocked them very quick. But lots of my fans are telling me, it's the Irony Bros, Jeff. The Irony Bros are after you. I don't even know what that is. Is that a radio show or something?
It is a YouTube show, but the point is that they use irony. They don't take anything seriously. You could look at them as nihilists, but if you look at them as serious intellectuals, of course they're going to fail. They are not JFs. They are not Richard Spencers. They're not even Mike Enochs. They are guys who just find everything funny and cut everyone down. So if you're looking for comedy, that's the Irony Bros. And remember, you can say a lot of things with irony that you can't say straight. So the Irony Bros are, I would suspect, letting in some subversive ideas, but they do it through comedy. They do it through locker room humor.
Okay, that sounds. I don't know what to think about them. All I know is that they are blocked on my Twitter.